Welcome back to NJ.com. Matt Stanmyre here once again with Mike Kinney, our high school football expert from the Star Ledger. We are here for another installment of the Star Ledger Scramble. Let's jump right to it.
Yeah, why not?
Wall, a team we haven't talked about a lot this season. They are 7-0, and more importantly, this weekend they play Colonia. They could get some really crucial power points that could really propel them into the playoffs in Central Jersey Group 3. Wall, they're playing fantastic, huh?
Excellent football right now. And, you know, and they played that excellent football last week. They beat Toms River South, but unfortunately, the win over Toms River South only had one win. They only picked up 12 power points. So it didn't really help them in there as far as elevating them too much in that section. But now they have Colonia. If they can beat Colonia, Colonia's very tough. If they can beat Colonia, they get 27 power points, and that's good. Definitely going to get them at least a first-round home game, probably a second-round home game, and then that's all you want. If you can do that and keep winning and get to a neutral site for the championship, that's what you want. And, you know, Colonia's got Greg Jones, great running back. We talked about him last week. He's outstanding. They got to stop him. That's going to be their key. Can they stop Greg Jones? But Colonia's got to stop Jim Giuliano, who's been running the ball great for them. And their quarterback is Steve Cluley, and he's doing a good, solid job for Wall. Wall's playing good football, and they're kind of under the radar. We've been talking about Red Bank Catholic. That's the team we've been looking at. We're always looking at Rumson. We're always looking at some of those other teams. Sure, we kind of forgot about Wall. Better not forget about Wall. Colonia is not forgetting about it.
And I like this matchup, too. You got a shore power this year going up against a Middlesex team. I mean, there's a lot of good matchups here.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And then we've been talking about running backs all season. This one, we kind of haven't talked about Lance Smith very much from West Orange, but now we are because he is adding to his career rushing record that he's already set at West Orange, and he's chasing his own single-season rushing record that he set last year. This kid's been a little under the radar, but tell us about him.
Well, I'll tell you why. You know what happened? West Orange lost their first 3 games of the season, and one of those games was the 49-0 loss to East Orange. East Orange really locked them up, and they locked Lance up. But since then, Lance got angry, and Lance said, please give me the football because I want to do some damage. West Orange now 5 in a row. West Orange now putting himself in a position to be a top 4 seed in Section 1, Group 4, and Lance is just, records are falling every time he carries the ball. Like you said, he already has the single-season record last year of 1,477 yards. Now he's got over 1,200 yards. He's chasing that. He'll catch that. He's already the career rushing leader. And in 2 weeks ago against Irvington, he set the school record for yardage in a game, 342 yards, and the longest run from scrimmage, 97 yards. For West Orange. So, you know, you go walk into that trophy case now at West Orange, you're going to see Lance Smith's name all over the place. Great job, Lance. You're doing fantastic.
And he's got West Orange, you know, poised for the playoffs, too, so great job there. Another running back that we haven't talked a lot about, we have talked about a couple times, but it's Hackettstown running back Brian Wixer. This kid has had his second straight 300-plus yard game this past weekend. He is just churning up yardage at a record pace, and even better, he has his team at 5-3 and in line for the playoffs.
That's the key, exactly. What's his yardage doing? What's his yardage and all these touchdowns doing? It's making them win, and Hackettstown is not always in the playoffs. They haven't been there since 2008, and now they're in line to get a playoff spot there, and that's fantastic. This kid has rushed for 700 yards, over 700 yards, and 9 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Unbelievable.
We're talking about him now because every defensive back and linebacker on their schedule is talking about Brian Wixer because he's running through people, running around people, running counters away from people. He's doing a tremendous job. So we'll see what we can do from now on.
Now, there wasn't much running going on in Saturday in this crazy game that we have to recap. If you picked up our paper, you heard a little bit about it. But Johnson-Roselle, they played at the height of the ice, snowstorm, whatever you want to call it on Saturday. The game got moved from Roselle to Johnson because Johnson had the artificial surface, and then it got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. They finally played it. Johnson won 6-0. But this was one of the crazier games in ever, right?
Right. The circumstances were like, you know what, we want to play football today. We don't care what happens. We're playing this game. Where a lot of other schools, you know, they stopped. And again, they ran into the teeth of this because they didn't play early in the day. They wanted to play at 1 o'clock at Roselle. Roselle is grass turf, grass field. They couldn't get it cleared. Let's go to Johnson. That in itself is an amazing, you know, cooperation between 2 teams because it usually is not going to happen. They reschedule the game for 2 o'clock at Johnson in Clark. Now, because of the snow conditions, it took the maintenance guys a while to get the field cleared, so 2:30 becomes 3 o'clock. Also, Johnson has some nice home stands, but there's trees overhanging. With all the trees coming down, they told the fans in Johnson, you can't sit on your home stands. You got to go to the other side of the field. So you have both groups of fans on one side of the field watching this crazy game, which doesn't start till 4 because at 3 o'clock they had to wait for a doctor to be there. So now at 4 o'clock, it's the worst possible conditions. These guys go on and they play a game. Johnson wins 6-0, and Bob Bear wrote it in our paper today. Those kids will never forget it. This is a memory they'll talk about forever and ever and ever. And maybe they'll talk about you and I talking about it someday.
And hats off to them, too, because that was nasty conditions. You did not want to be out there unless you were sledding down a hill or something.
Yeah,
you know,
once you start, you know that. Once you start in that kind of stuff, it's fun. Man.
Yeah, definitely,
That's
definitely.
when you dream about playing a football game like that.
And a 6-0 score, too. That's just perfect score for a game like that. So.
Exactly. No, maybe 2-0 would have been.
That's true. That would have been appropriate.
Yeah.
So make sure you're picking up the Star Ledger throughout the week. The playoffs are coming, and we're going to be all over the coverage. And also check out our high school football blog at NJ.com. We'll see you next time.